Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We're streaming out live on YouTube, X, Rumble, Facebook Live, and also on the audio streams, as well as BitChute, a couple of other live streaming platforms that we're moving on to. Thank you for joining us once again. This is episode 565 of this weekly Omnibus television news program brought to you here on Alternate Current Radio Network, also at 21stcenturywire.com. And we have a pretty big program today. We're going to be covering some serious issues. Going to be joined in the Overdrive segment by our teammates at ACR, probably Hesher and Ruckus, as well as maybe Basil Valentine. We'll see who else we might be able to connect for a forum, for a chat in the second half about some of these major issues that are affecting not just the United States, but also internationally as well. So we're looking forward to that. Now, the first things first, I wanted to comment on, there's some major protests right now across the United States. This is called the No Kings themed protest. And it's all over the internet. It's all over the news. We'll see. I mean, it's just it's interesting. We've commented on, the opposition to Trump or lack thereof in the first 9 or 10 months of this administration, and I look at this No Kings thing, and there's no foreign policy in it, which to me is a little bit disturbing. I mean, the place for, I think, the left to really galvanize opposition, if they want to really put pressure on the White House right now, it's definitely going to be for its support for foreign wars. Now, domestically, it's a little more difficult, but I really think that if you really are wanting to be legitimate opposition, you need to bundle in the foreign policy as well. You have to put it all into one basket with the domestic issues. There's plenty of them. We'll cover those and a whole lot more right now. We're going to bring up onto the screen some of the stories that we're looking at right now. I mean, one of the ones that I think is quite emblematic of the whole situation that we're seeing right now is the situation in Gaza. Now, we're looking at the various options for ceasefires and so forth, whether they're actually happening or not. We have to look at all of these different versions of events that are happening as a result of this administration's policies. The support for Israel is problematic on a number of different levels, and we'll be discussing that, as well as the other one is, of course, is the situation in Venezuela. And there's a few things to be revealed about that, as well as another war which is breaking out right now with Pakistan and Afghanistan. And the United States has taken a clear position on that. So that one, can't be discounted from this conversation. Certainly, we think Washington's definitely behind that. I've discussed that on previous podcasts as well. I will go into some detail on that, and we'll give you, my insights and my analysis on that, which we have fleshed out in previous programs. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, we'll open up. I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the ceasefire that is not happening in Gaza is over. The ceasefire is over. So we see this pattern with the Trump administration, where they do victory laps, and upon victory laps, after announcing something, it's a signing ceremony or something like that, signing ceremony, or it's an announcement. Oh, there's a deal. Oh, we've had a phone call, etc. It's always the same thing, and we're supposed to celebrate. We're supposed to be like sort of, believing that something's actually happened as a result of this. And so often, whatever the thing that was announced completely falls apart or isn't happening by Monday. And that's what happened with this so-called peace deal with Gaza. And I don't mean to be the eternal cynic on these things. And it's so funny, the criticism coming from the Zionist side, the pro-Israel side, was, well, there's a ceasefire. How come nobody is celebrating on the pro-Palestinian side? Oh, look at they don't care about Gaza. They don't care. Look what Trump's delivered peace. They're all silent and quiet. No, many of us were just reticent, waiting to see how quickly this thing is going to fall apart. And of course, it didn't take long. In reality, I think the ceasefire only lasted, I think it was actually broken by Israel before it officially got started, if you can believe that. So it didn't really last very long. And then it just got compounded. It just went from bad to worse. I mean, it's just an unbelievable series of events. So now we're into a situation whereby, and we'll bring up some of these stories up on screen right now. And I think we'll start with Venezuela. This is a good place to start. The title of the show is The Non-Existent or Fake Ceasefires and More New Wars. One of the biggest tropes about the Trump administration, which we have to correct the record, during the first term and after the first term, and this was one of his election kind of manifestos or campaign talking points, was that there were no new wars started under Donald Trump. No bombs were dropped under Trump. This, during his first term, this is a total lie. This is such a huge lie. Now, there weren't as many wars started or fought than under 2 terms of Barack Obama or 2 terms of George Bush. Granted. But just for starters, Donald Trump inherited the dirty war on Yemen, which he continued during his first term throughout, backing Saudi Arabia in this proxy war on behalf of Israel. Of course, this is the thing nobody talked about at the time, but now it's quite clear. So that was one war. The other one was Donald Trump occupied Syria illegally. U.S. invaded and occupied 25% of Syria's landmass during Trump's first term. It happened. That was a new war. And then he attacked Syria twice, bombed Syria twice, both on fake pretenses. So that's a war right there. And so there's that one. So we've got we've got Syria, we've got Yemen. And Donald Trump provided lethal weapons to Ukraine to ramp up the Ukraine war before Biden. So Trump put it into position and ramped up NATO training, ramped up NATO operations to prepare for the war that everybody knew was coming. Everybody in Washington was already scheduled. So this talking point that Trump himself and people who support him say there were no new wars under Trump, it's not true. Okay. At best, it's sort of half true, maybe a quarter true, but it's a talking point. It's a trope. Okay. And I get confronted with this all the time. And it sounds great. And it all played into this kind of narrative that Trump was a peace president. And I think he did well campaigning on it. He basically got elected on that basis in 2024. On that basis. So, and on the back of that, he said, I'm going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. It's going to phone call. Look, Biden's made a mess of it. JD Vance was behind him. Yeah. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And of course, what are they doing now? They're escalating. Trump is Biden 2.0. Sleepy Joe 2.0. That's Trump. And it won't be long because he's similar age after his first year. He'll be the same sleepy Don that Biden was. I mean, Trump is very lethargic, very slow. He's not looking great. He's not sounding great. He's very lackadaisical, if you noticed. So he's just being completely micromanaged and directed around by some of these nutcases running his administration. These are really kind of somewhat unstable, dangerous, and insane people in his cabinet who don't know a whole lot about anything other than the fact that they're in power and they're feeling really good about it. Just saying. It's a disaster on every conceivable level. And then there is the Middle East situation. We'll go there in a minute. But let's talk about Venezuela. Okay, let's run through this. Okay. Why is the United States, why is Donald Trump declaring war on Venezuela? Why? What did Venezuela do to the U.S.? And the short answer is nothing. Venezuela has done sweet FA, you know what I'm saying, about they've done to the U.S. The U.S., however, has done everything to Venezuela. The U.S. is sanctioning Venezuela. They've declared war on their currency. They've stolen the Venezuelan state oil company from them. The U.S. Appointed their own president of Venezuela in absentia, Juan Guaido. And again, with the latest one, I think Edmundo Gonzalez, and followed by they'll appoint or recognize Maria Corina Machado, who won the equally fake Nobel Peace Prize this past week. So, and on and on. I could. The U.S. Donald Trump during his first term attempted 2 failed coups against Venezuela. No new wars under Trump. No new wars. Peace president. So he allowed himself to get used to such a degree during his first term. So now he's back. Now they're launching airstrikes against Venezuelan targets, and Marco Rubio is parading around like he's the Latin American expert because he speaks Spanish, because his last name's Rubio, and he claims that he's spreading democracy and liberty throughout Latin America and opposes the Cubans, and is constantly pumping up his Cuban bona fides. Marco Rubio is appointed by the Israeli lobby. Lock, stock, 100%. Marco Rubio is a product of the Israeli lobby. So all this other stuff is a side hustle. South America, it's a ham-fisted side hustle. Ukraine, Russia, it's a side hustle. The only thing that matters to any of these people is the interest of who put them into their cabinet positions. Israel, Netanyahu's office, Mary Madelson appointed all of Donald Trump's cabinet. Handpicked on a list via Howard Lutnick and the president-in-law, Jared Kushner, president-in-law. All of them. Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, all of them. Ambassadors, the whole lot. UN ambassador originally was Elise Stefanik. Then they panicked because couldn't lose her seat in the House, so they removed her. Israel picked her. And just to reiterate, for those who don't get it, Israel doesn't care about the Republican Party. They care so little about the Republican Party that they are willing to drain Republicans out of safe House and Senate seats to fill cabinet positions for Israel. Do you guys get this by now? Do you understand? No one else, no other president has done that. It only happens during Trump. They know Trump is so thick and the people around him are so sort of somewhat, challenged about some of the basics. They're so happy to be in power that they don't mind losing House and Senate seats, solid seats. And Israel doesn't mind either, because in the eyes of the Israeli lobby, if the Republicans lose the House or Senate, they don't care. They don't care because they've already bought the Democrat Party. They don't care. Do you understand how this works? So back to the point. That's why policy and execution and all the negotiations are so bad with all of these other areas around the world. That's why the economy is in shambles, because you have people who are incompetent, people who ultimately only care about one thing, and that is whatever the Israeli lobby wants. And the Israeli lobby only cares about one thing, and that's Israel. That's it. So back to Venezuela. Why are the U.S. sending warships and mounting airstrikes against Venezuelan fishing boats claiming it's a narco state. Venezuela is not a narco state. This is a fabrication, something made up by the administration. It's kind of disappointing this administration's willing to lie about stuff so blatantly. So look at this. After the latest U.S. attack on what they said was a drug-running boat from Maduro's narco state, all they're doing is setting up Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro for a regime change. Okay, it's as fake as Iraqi WMDs, equally as fake. So the U.S. are now repatriating survivors of alleged drug boat strike by Trump and repatriating them to Colombia or Ecuador. But see, here's the kicker. And this is what we said during the first drug boat strike by Trump. We said it, and we said it twice. And of course, look what comes out. What's this? Revealed. Oh, it is unclear they have any link to Venezuelan criminal organizations. These people. It's unclear. This is what's been revealed in this report. So they don't know. So none of this is true. This is all a massive bevy of lies. And it's just, to me, amazing that nobody has pulled up the administration to show any evidence of how they believe that Venezuela is somehow the biggest drug trafficker in Latin America, when in fact we know it's not. Historically, it hasn't been, and it's not now. Let's talk about Colombia, Guatemala, Mexico, a number of other countries. And let's talk about the CIA and the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. These are the two biggest drug traffickers in America, traditionally. So, that's all we're saying. Let's talk about those. Let's talk real, not fake. So Marco Rubio's making this case. Trump's making this case. This is just, I just have a feeling this is not going to end well for the U.S. or for Latin America either. They're wanting to start a war, and at the same time, the CIA's Nobel Peace Prize, it's a CIA prize. It's a CIA award, the Nobel Prize. The CIA have total control over the Nobel Peace Prize now. And the CIA gave the Peace Prize to the so-called opposition figure, Maria Corina Machado. Okay. That's a woman from Venezuela, a U.S., arguably a CIA asset running a USAID-funded electioneering NGO. Okay. She told Netanyahu to invade Venezuela in order to oust Maduro. And she gets a peace prize? Honestly, folks, you couldn't make it up. So anyway, that one, just a load of balderdash. This one, even worse. So the big ceasefire, the peace deal or whatever in Gaza, breaking news, Gaza authorities say Israeli army has committed 47 violations already of the ceasefire in 10 days, killing 38 people, wounding another 143. Okay. That is right off the wires right there. There's no debate about it. We'll look at some individual stuff on X here. This is from the Cradle. Israeli Army radio citing Israeli officials report that preparations are underway to increase the pace of attacks on Gaza. That's from the Israeli military. And that there will be an escalation. Haaretz journalist Amos Harel says there is, quote, no change in the so-called ceasefire agreement. It's like Orwellian double speak, newspeak here coming out of the Israeli press. No change in the agreement with Hamas, the ceasefire agreement. So they announced escalation, but they say there's no change in the ceasefire. You got to love the Israelis. And the escalation in the Gaza Strip is only to improve Netanyahu's image inside Israel. So don't worry, it's still a ceasefire, but Netanyahu's got to improve his optics. So they had to escalate, but it's to help Netanyahu's optics. It's not really a violation of the ceasefire. So something along those lines. At least that's how it. So that's what the Israeli press is saying. You better believe the U.S. press will say nothing. They'll just ignore all this because it completely destroys all of the celebratory coverage of Trump's historic deal. It's a historic deal. Got a big signing ceremony, big meeting at Sharm el Sheikh with Al-Sisi and the Arab countries. Look, we did it. We brought peace to the Middle East. Wow, what Donald Trump has done is incredible, isn't it? It's spent a week saying that, backslapping, sycophantic, bowing and scraping to this orange monstrosity. Here's another one. This is a good account. Hussein, Eyes on the South, said Zionists just launched another ground aggression against Tubas in the West Bank. The town is fully besieged by the Israeli occupation forces. Entrance is blocked while bulldozers are destroying streets and homes. The ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in the West Bank continues. Okay, that's during the ceasefire. I know the ceasefire is just for Gaza, but just so people are reminded that Israel is engaging in ethnic cleansing in the West Bank as well. And so this is what the State Department are saying. This is just released by the State Department just now. U.S. Department of State, that's Marco Rubio's department, I guess. Or is it Steve Witkoff's? I don't know. They all belong to the Israel. That's Netanyahu's cabinet, by the way. It's not Trump's. But here's what the U.S. State Department is saying. The United States has been informed, or has informed, the guarantor nations of the Gaza peace agreement. Who are the guarantor nations? Who are they? I thought Trump was guaranteeing this. I mean, it's such a joke how they constructed this. Anyway, they've informed the guarantor nations of the Gaza peace agreement because of credible reports indicating an imminent ceasefire violation by Hamas against the people of Gaza. So an imminent violation. So what is this? The Minority Report or something? What is this? Pre-crime by the State Department? There's an imminent violation coming. Meanwhile, we just showed you 47 Israeli violations. 47. But the State Department's imminent against the people of Gaza. This planned attack against Palestinian civilians would constitute a direct and grave violation of the ceasefire agreement and undermine significant progress achieved through mediation efforts. Absolute BS. Marco Rubio and the U.S. State Department are lying, and they're putting their lies up on X. It's embarrassing, but I think we're way past embarrassment by this point. The guarantors demanding Hamas uphold its obligations. Again, so we'll show you what they might be talking about, but also a false flag probably would something Israel would definitely do. I think that's a guarantee. I'll show you. They're already doing it with their proxies. Should Hamas proceed with the attack, measures will be taken to protect the people of Gaza. Oh, so now the U.S. is concerned about the people of Gaza's safety. So the propaganda coming out of the U.S. is that Hamas is putting the people at Gaza at risk. Again, it was Hamas's fault that Israel committed the genocide, killed 380,000 or 680,000 Palestinians, and now Hamas is threatening the poor people of Gaza. The United States and other guarantors remain resolute in our commitment to the safety of civilians. You what? You what? The State Department, the U.S. is committed to the safety of civilians. Is that why you're providing all the bombs and the F-35s and all the targeting intelligence to slaughter Palestinian people? I mean, these people just need to go. These politicians are just beyond at this point. This is just absolute, pure, unadulterated BS. That's what this is. It's. I mean, I've always marveled at the State Department's ability to lie, but We're past Goebbels at this point. We are so far past Goebbels. It's not even funny, honestly. So let's break this down. So now for the education. So what's the State Department talking about? Well, here's one aspect of it. Trump demands Hamas disarm as group moves to assert control with public executions. So what are these public executions? You've seen these photos. Hamas are executing people in public. Look at these savages, these Islamists. So all the Trump supporters, all the MAGA bots and Tommy Tards are out there posting pictures of Hamas's public executions. Islam is a savage and a brutal religion, and look what happens when they're allowed to run amok. And look at the poor Palestinians in Gaza. I love how the right are virtue signaling on this, and the Zionists. You got to love it. So this is the BBC verify. So BBC are verifying whether this is actually happening. You know, good job, BBC. You're verifying it. Good. I'm glad you are. Is it really happening? I think it looks like it is. It looks like it is. They provided maps here. There's a photo. They've geolocated the execution site. There's an image there. Make of it what you will. We're not sure, but we'll go with it. So then the question is context. Who are they executing? The implication by Fox and the brain dead MAGA mob on X and other platforms is that they're just like gratuitously, randomly killing people for sport. Hamas taking advantage of the ceasefire just to kill people, because that's what Muslims do, according to the American press, the right-wing press. But upon closer examination, of course, you got to read between the lines here. Oh, this was interesting. Buried down at the bottom. I always like looking at the bottom first. That's why I always read articles backwards, because always the best stuff in mainstream is at the bottom. And it says this: at least some of the clans these are the lawless gangs, they're calling the clans running around Gaza, have been reported to have received weapons and other support from the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF. So the IDF are training and arming the clans and the ISIS affiliates in Gaza, which they've inserted into Gaza. But it gets better. They're serving as proxies against Hamas. So it's an Israeli. So Hamas is executing Israeli proxies. That would make a better headline, wouldn't it? I think it would. But this I love this part though. This is really special. Some of the militias, call them militias, what you should call them terrorists, because that's what they've been shooting journalists and these Israeli proxies. Some of the militias are also operating in IDF controlled areas. So they've got camps in IDF controlled areas. By analyzing videos circulating on social media, the BBC identified bases used by two rival groups deep inside IDF controlled territory, including one near the southern city of Rafah. So Israel has put their sort of gangs, counter gangs, ISIS affiliates, clans. They're financing them, training them, and arming them. To me, the story's over. That's a slam dunk. And if you don't believe the BBC, then you should believe the Israeli media. This is going all the way back to June. What's wrong with that? Says Netanyahu, when confronted of, why is Israel training and arming an ISIS affiliate in Gaza, linked to Gazan militia, clearly an Israeli proxy? Netanyahu's response is in the headlines. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, do I need to say any more? Is there any more clarification required here as to what we're looking at? I mean, the worst thing about this, everything I just showed you doesn't exist in the U.S. press. So Americans, you're so well informed. And you won't read it in the Times or the Telegraph. And probably you will not hear it from Keir Starmer, nor will you probably read about it in Der Spiegel or anywhere else in the European mainstream, except maybe Le Monde or El País or something like that in Spain. Anyway, it's a joke. It's a joke. Now for the piece de la résistance, right here. Afghanistan accuses Pakistan of breaking truce as 10 killed in air attacks. So Pakistan's at war with Afghanistan. The United States is pushing Pakistan to declare war, to wage war for regime change in Kabul, in Afghanistan. I mean, isn't this amazing? But what's interesting about this is it comes roughly a week and a bit after Donald Trump made this strange offhanded comment saying that the U.S. wants to go back into Afghanistan. So Trump and Pete Hegseth want to reinvade Afghanistan. He said, we're going to get Bagram Air Force Base back. Big, beautiful base. Beautiful base. Bagram Air Force Base. We built it. We built it. Biden's weakness gave it away. Gave it away to the Taliban. It wouldn't have happened if I was president. He gave it away. Gave it away. We built it. It's ours. No, Donald, no. No. America didn't build it. The Russians built it. The Russians built it, Donald, not the Americans. No, the Americans came in and occupied it, you see. But I guess that Israeli sense of geography and land ownership has, I think it's Donald's taken to it these endearing principles of Zionism, which are that you can just say that we built it. Just say the Americans built it, and that, I don't know, God promised Trump Bagram Air Force Base. Just get Ted Cruz to interpret a Bible passage or something and say, there it is, says Ted Cruz. Well, the Bible commands us to take Bagram Air Force Base back. The Bible commands us. Right there in Genesis. That's all you need. That's all you need. I mean, you just say it's ours. It was promised to us. It doesn't even have to be 3,500 years ago. It could be, I don't know. It's just been discovered that it was, it's a U.S. homeland. It's a holy site. It kind of is actually a holy site for the U.S. military, because there's so many U.S., especially the Intel industrial complex. All these middle-aged men are reminiscing about how great it was in Afghanistan and what a great job they're doing. Pete Hegseth, the Fox Weekend host, who got gifted the head of the Pentagon, the defense secretary, who thinks he's the head of the Joint Chiefs, which I think is interesting, but he's not. Major Hegseth. He thinks they did a great job in Afghanistan. He's really high on the whole project. It was an unmitigated failure, hemorrhaged all kinds of public money from the United States. It was a disaster for NATO. It drove immigration from Central Asia into Europe. Anyway, all good for Israel. It was all good for Israel. And Afghanistan never attacked the United States. So why did they destroy and invade and occupy Afghanistan for 25 years? Afghanistan never attacked the U.S. The allegation was that they were shielding Osama bin Laden. It's a joke. It's a joke. The whole time, bin Laden was probably in Pakistan or getting kidney dialysis treatment in Dubai. Just saying. But you guys can look that up if you don't believe me. So another war. So the U.S. is behind this Pakistani war. Why? They want to pull Pakistan away from China. They want to pull Afghanistan away from India. They want to pull Afghanistan away from China. They want to pull Afghanistan away from Russia. You see, the great game is on again. It's on again. Great game is back again. And all you need, and listen closely, think about it under Trump's watch. Trump is the most neocon of neocon administrations probably in the history of the U.S. Just in 1 year, he is now threatening to surpass the Bush administration. I mean, this is neocon on a whole nother level with some incredible fascism at home as well. I mean, it's incredible. But he's on track to sort of rewrite the neoconservative pantheon Hall of Fame, the Trump administration. Just look at it. That's happening. So where's the opposition going to be to this? I don't see any real viable opposition right now, not the government level. So where are we going to be in 3 or 4 years on this? Is the Trump administration going to create situations that the next U.S. president will inherit and cannot get out of, exactly like the situations created by George W. Bush that Obama became embroiled in and he could not get out? The swamp, the security state, the deep state, all congealed around Iraq, Afghanistan. Even though those wars were unwinnable and they just laid waste to large parts of the Middle East and Central Asia. It's clearly a bad idea, but there's money to be extracted out of the process, profits to be made, and boy, did they. It's happening again. It'll guarantee the next administration, Democrat or Republican, will be stuck. And of course, somebody will come along, maybe a crafty populist, and say, we need to bring the troops home. We can stop these wars. Democrat populist, could be a Republican populist, could be some libertarian. You need to stop this. Can't have any more of this. Gets them elected. Why? Because Americans don't want war. They don't. But then, so they elect the person every time. George W. Bush ran on a no new nation building platform. That was a direct reaction to Bill Clinton's debacle with the bombing and breakup of Yugoslavia by NATO. George W. Bush gets elected, and then what happens? The opposite. Barack Obama. My first day in office, I'm going to bring home the troops from Iraq, says Obama. And Afghanistan. I promise. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Now vote for me. What happened? No. Stayed in. Even escalated. Trump 1.0 in 2016. Hillary the warmonger. Trump the peacenik. It worked. What does he do when he gets in office? Everything I said at the beginning of this program. Trump continued and expanded new fronts. Biden, I don't know what he campaigned on because no one remembers him campaigning. So it's hard to hold Biden to account on anything because he didn't really campaign. That's another discussion. Trump 2.0, definitely the peace president. He ran and got elected on that basis. Period. And what has he done? It's worse than the opposite. Trump is presiding over and gloating over a graveyard in Gaza and wants to, him and his associates and Netanyahu and all these lunatic nutcases in Tel Aviv, like Basil, Smotrich, and Ben Gvir, and all the other nutcases. They want to build luxury apartments, split the property development market up, kill and turf out every last native Palestinian. And that's all good. It's all good for America. It's all good for the bureaucrats in Europe. It's all good for the mainstream media. Everybody else, of course, doesn't like it, doesn't want it. But who has the power to restrain Israel or the U.S. on this? The U.S. is bought and paid for. The U.S. government is under 100% control of the Israeli lobby of Netanyahu's office. And they've sent a warning shot, literally a warning shot, just this last month. A warning shot intended to be seen and felt by Donald Trump himself and everybody else of weight in that administration. They all look pretty spooked at Charlie Kirk's NFL funeral ceremony in Arizona. Donald Trump and Elon Musk looked terrified at that event. Why? Maybe they know something. Maybe they know something. I think they do. I think they do. It's a very dangerous time right now. It's a very dangerous time. But all of these people had an opportunity to take this in a different direction, and they chose not to. Maybe they were afraid. Maybe you're dealing with an organized crime syndicate here, an international mafia, undoubtedly. But still, there's ways that this could have been done differently. There's ways that the United States could have taken the lead, could have done the right thing. Maybe not with this president, of course, but the previous administration could have. There's always a way. What we have now is a disaster. So let's take a break right now, and we're going to connect our teammates from ACR on the other side. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is the Sunday Wire. We are streaming out live on X, Rumble, YouTube, BitChute, Facebook Live. We'll be on iTunes. We'll be on Spotify, all of these platforms after the program. And we'll be catching up. We see some comments flooding in from our amazing audience here. We've already got 500 comments that have come in just during this monologue. So we're gonna take some of the best comments, also talk about those in the Overdrive segment. So stay with us. We'll be back very shortly. In the meantime, join us on the other side, but also enjoy the music of Joseph Arthur. We've seen a few.
Brothers and sisters, we're being divided. Don't believe what they say. Hold on to your soul. Every
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. Thank you for joining us. This is Overdrive segment here. We'll be bringing some of our cohort onto the stream, as well as reviewing some of our audience interactions here. Some incredible comments already coming through. We'll try to share some of the best with you as well. That was the music of Joseph Arthur. The title of that track is The Devil's Best Machine. I remember when Joseph sent that through to us, and at the time it was quite unique, this track, but it's just grown on us so much. It's such an incredibly written song, and it's one of those ones, the more you play, the better it gets. It's I want to talk about this track actually with my colleagues as well. Let me bring on to the program. I see you see Hesher, host of the Boiler Room, Alternate Current Radio. Hello, how you doing?
Very well, very well. It's great to be here with you, Patrick. Great first hour of the show there. Really enjoyed your breakdown. And that was, I love that song. That's one of my favorite Joseph Arthur songs from the stack that we're able to use on this show and others. And it just, I don't know. I think we're all very familiar with Divide and Conquer at this point, this audience in particular. But the way that he laid the words out for the chorus in that is so good, because it makes you think about divide and conquer and the way that opinions play into that. And opinions, I love the way he kind of highlights the opinion part, because like, yeah, people have different opinions, but this system right now is taking those opinions, dumping political identity and emotion and outrage into them, and then telling you that the two opinions are incompatible and that you need to hate each other.
Yeah. Ruckus, welcome to the program. Great to have you with us.
Thanks. Yeah. And you know what they say, to the victors of the war go the spoils. And I think that's, I thought we were there. I thought we were like, hey, they're probably working out all the deals to build the casinos and the McDonald's and everything. It was going to be good for jobs and all that stuff. But alas, as we already know, it appears the ceasefire has been most likely broken. I've just been feeling on edge. I saw that report late last night, just before I decided to go to bed. Fox News and all the like saying, oh, we have good information. They're about to break the ceasefire, and I immediately suspected it was over these executions that Hamas has been doing publicly and openly, and everyone knows what this is about. They've been taking out some of the dirty rats, some of the bad people that cost lives of some of the citizens out there by aiding and abetting what the IDF was doing at the time, which was, according to, a small handful of people in certain government organizations around the world, as a word called genocide, some also instances of ethnic cleansing, things like that. So, the people who are involved in committing these war crimes were dutifully dealt with in a way that I would suggest that most other countries, including the state here in America, we have very stringent rules about treason and stuff like that. And that, it involves the death penalty. If we were to root out the traitors in our own country after a bloody conflict and take care of them, would we be accused of just running around murdering our own citizens? Well, maybe, because that's how propaganda works. Right, Patrick?
Well, look at the hellscape behind both of you, the pictures that you've chosen for today's show. I mean, if anybody aided and abetted that and was still running around in your neighborhood, what do you think's going to happen to them? I mean, this is like, it's we'll get back to that in a minute. Just briefly on Joseph's track. The other thing, it's such an incredible song, and the video. It's a 6 minute and 10 seconds or 6:30, 6 minutes. It's a long song. It's a long song, but it's got kind of a repetition. And I saw, when I first saw the video, Joseph makes his own videos, which is also interesting. A lot of musicians don't do that. Joseph does. Joseph is full spectrum artist. He does it. It's a one-stop shop. He does it all. And I said, Joseph, how did you get the rights to all those illustrations? And he said, what rights? He's I made them. So he made them as a combination of himself and AI, and he put those scenes together, and it's just, I mean, it's like a wild science fiction acid trip, you know, and it's so incredible. And I told him after a few months, I said, this is a genius, this song, because as what Hesher was saying is it just puts this kind of political scene into context through this kind of poetry, and it just has this repetition to it. It just drills in, and I started singing this song all day. I've got the hook in my. I don't know if you guys, Hesher, looks like you do too. I have the hook in my head. Some not anymore, but I did for months after, and I'm thinking to myself, that's a good songwriter, right there. This is a good
And
art.
it should have resonated more with American listeners, I thought, because it's a very American message, patriotic, like, you know, don't tread on me, kind of like that's the concept of, you know, how this country here in particular was founded. The idea is that united we stand and divided we fall. It's that basic, you know, it's an obvious one, but it's like it seems like that concept is lost on a lot of folks, in particular these days. So it is, as everything that Joseph does, very timely, although he did write that one some while ago. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Peter Gabriel. You guys know Peter. I'd say he's pretty high up in the in the pantheon of music legends, but he said publicly recently that Joseph Arthur is the best songwriter of our generation. That's what he said. So publicly at Joseph's on stage at Joseph's gig in London. So that's quite an endorsement, I would say. Yeah. Hesher, I think you're on mute, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, actually, I got to speak to Joseph yesterday briefly. He told me to tell both you guys and the audience hello, and that he
Cool.
misses you guys.
Yeah, we miss him too. I mean, he's an incredible artist, and we're privileged to, you know, be able to share his art on the program and on this network as well. So, but back to the ceasefire. What do you guys make? I mean, you know how skeptical we were when this all went down, and I'm not surprised at all. I had no expectations that this was going to become anything. However, I hope that I hope even the fake ceasefire can hold for as long as possible, because these people so desperately deserve to eat, to be able to sleep, to be able to get water. They got jugs of water coming in, because I just found out something disturbing, ladies and gentlemen. Israeli soldiers blew up the water treatment plant for Gaza. They burnt it to the ground.
Amazing.
What if that happened in a major American city? What and dysentery, people are dying, arsenic poisoning, all this other stuff. What would be the American reaction? What would be the global reaction? If somebody actually went and did that intentionally, how would they be portrayed? How would that be labeled?
I think they'd use a T word, right? Something to do with terror.
I think so. Yeah.
Terrorism, war, act of war, perhaps. I mean, we might even start a nuclear war if they were to go into, like, you know, I don't know, New York and do that to the water system or something, right?
Tourism, as Bush said, tourism.
Tourism.
And in America, of course, it would be politicized immediately, and they might even try to spin some sort of vaccine to treat the people who got sick on top of everything else, you know.
Oh, definitely vaccines. Ruckus you got a good brain for business, Ruckus. I'll tell you, get a job at
marketing, you know,
the Gates Foundation or Gavi maybe, but it just coincidentally, just, you know, in Ireland, the word for tourism and terrorism are the same. Terrorism. Terrorism. Tag Hickey knows. He'll tell you it's the same.
That'll confuse things at the pub when I'm having conversations. Then
terrorist, the terrorist, the terrorist, American terrorist, the terrorists. So I digress. We have to joke because this stuff is just so depressing sometimes. But yeah. So here's what I want to ask you guys. What really pisses me off about this fake ceasefire business is the victory laps, the preemptive victory laps before the thing even started. Israel broke it before went into effect. They had tanks firing at Palestinians that were celebrating on the beach. Oh, watch this, you guys. You want to see a good one? This is the Israeli Navy firing on Palestinians on the shore. Believe it or not, this happened. Let me see if I've got, here we go, Palestinian beaches. Listen to this. So basically, these are Palestinians trying to re-enter northern Gaza, and Israel, between the tank fire and I don't know where these artilleries were coming from. I think from a Navy ship, possibly. I'm not sure, but I mean they already broke it, as we showed earlier. So I mean, I don't understand the State Department. They must be in such an Orwellian mode that they can get away with this. The thing that statement disturbs me, guys, which I showed you from the State Department. Let me bring that back up on screen here. This one. What disturbs me is this sounds like a false flag. You know, they're setting up a false flag. That's my worry here. And if Israel did do a false flag, and you know, even if it got found out after a week or two or whatever, the reaction would have already gone into motion. You know, and then we'd be arguing about it like the Nord Stream pipeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just the situation is so perfect for abuse because they have total control over this space. Just like NATO had total control over the Baltic Sea during Baltops 22 in 20, you know. So there's nobody else they have Israel's total control over the space. That's what worries me, guys, about this this preemptive Minority Report style declaration here by the office of Marco Rubio and Steve Wood.
My spidey instinct is still suggesting that they're trying to pass off the public executions as these attacks against civilians. But I know what you're saying because I also had that immediate thought too, as well as like, oh, they're going to do something. Then I'm like, well, that's kind of technically out of character. I mean, all the world has been paying attention, and I think it'd be very difficult to convince people that Hamas is just randomly, hey, you know what? We went through all this for you. You're not grateful enough. We're just going to start killing. It doesn't make any sense. They've been fighting and giving their lives to protect the people in Palestine. So, I mean, to just randomly start murdering them makes zero sense. And I don't think it would work. I think because they've already been laying the breadcrumbs about the public execution stuff. Donald Trump was talking about it just the other night. Like, I've been seeing reports. This isn't good. If that's what we're going to have to go ahead and wipe them out. And I'm like, is he talking about what? I think they're talking about that. And then the State Department comes out with that. So again, just my instinct here, I don't think it's a false flag thing. I think it's just a perception of a bunch of stupid people that don't understand what's going on out there. It'd be very easy to pass around videos to see, oh, look, they got people dragged out in the streets. They got their hands behind their backs and hoods on. And look, they just shot them. Oh my God, that's horrible. And it could be like just put in the face and a shock factor, and they could just run with that, Patrick. I don't know.
Yeah, it's already being packaged as Muslim barbarism or Islamic barbarism, whatever. You see the people they're talking about, these militias, these ISIS affiliates trained by Israel, operating out of IDF controlled. They smuggled the guns in with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. That's how they ran the guns in. So every single aspect of this is completely contrived. It's completely contrived by U.S. and Israeli intelligence. All of it. There's nothing authentic going on here. This is a completely staged situation, and so they're getting executed here, and it's probably the most humane sort of outcome that they're probably going to get, that anyone will get in Gaza. So I mean, that's what's happening. So guys, I mean, do you need a PhD in geopolitical science to work this one out?
I mean, it seems to make total sense to me in the sense that it's the perfect cover for uh, whatever they want to do in Gaza, whatever they want to do to the remaining Palestinian population. Right at this point, it is such a disaster there, and so many people are gone, and the people that are left are suffering and worried about, shelter, food, safety, water, just the basics. So any narrative can come out of this place. And when I look at that small picture right there, I'm immediately confused by this execution. What am I looking at? Am I looking at somebody? There's like I'm looking through three cameras right there in two different perspectives, and what the lighting is like almost studio lighting or something. And I immediately start to kind of go, Wait a minute. Like, and if you remove that comment for a second, you can see there's like two cams. We're looking at through like, what is that? A pair of like glasses or a GoPro mounted camera that's looking through a phone at the same thing. This is a digital world. I'm sure this is all very normal. But it strikes me as like, okay, wait, I feel like immediately like I need to be careful about narratives like this that I see coming out of a location like that is so
Mm-hmm.
fenced in, so enclosed. I mean, we saw what happened with the flotilla the last two times. There's not many people getting in there with their own tech, and there's the journalists have all been killed, and the hospitals are all gone. You know what I mean? So it's like, where is this information coming from? And what is the trend going to be now? Are we going to keep seeing things like this? And what will these narratives drive towards? I would say they're probably going to drive towards just the completion phase of the ethnic cleansing that has been done there.
Yeah, yeah. ISIS affiliate Shelley, ISIS affiliates financed by Israel. Yeah, of course. Of course. So what's the solution, Patrick? Says Ramplants 01. Everybody wants solutions. We just always bang on about the problems, aren't we, guys? We just don't offer any solutions. Well, we've seen this movie before, 10 years of it in Syria. What is the solution? The solution is they're sending in armed jihadist proxies and thugs and criminals. What's the solution? You have to fight them. Hamas has to fight them. That's all that's left. What a dirty game. As if it's not bad enough, they've bombed these poor people. They've destroyed, as the background. Look at the backgrounds of our teammates here. Look at Hesher and Ruckus. That's the reality right there. So what after that, and still they're sending in jackals to like what? So chaos and division, and make it difficult for Hamas to govern in the region, and also be able to demonize them globally, continue to demonize them. And can you believe it? Saying, oh, Hamas is threatening the people, the State Department. We're going to protect the civilians of Gaza from Hamas. Can you believe this BS garbage? This is max level. I mean, it's really, I think it's reaching the limit. If there was a limit, just on the other side of this door is President Camacho. Mountain Dew Camacho,
Pretty
just
much.
on the other side of that door. That's how close we are to the idiocracy. With right there.
And unfortunately, the real idiocracy is far more violent than the movie Idiocracy. Like the movie
Right.
Idiocracy is fun because it focuses on the worldview, if you could call that what those people had in that movie, the day-to-day, the understanding of, grasping simple things, communication, that kind of thing, cleanliness, hell, feeding yourself. But there was, and of course Camacho's famous for the, M60 scene in it, where he's, just basically having a like a NFL style celebration for politics. Where are we seeing those these days? I won't mention any names. Someone might find it distasteful, but you know what I'm talking about. But it's like there was no discussion in the movie about the geopolitical failings of Camacho's regime or anything like that. Like, so, it took something, the Idiocracy, Mike Judge's Idiocracy is something that's fun and funny and a little bit scary and predictive, but it didn't really touch this.
Well, look at this comment, guys. What are your thoughts? Hope, Love, and Peace says AI will start coming into play. please don't scare us any more than we already are frightened about this prospect that we all imagined. And I knew, I already saw this coming like 10, 15 years ago. I thought, what would happen if they could fake the statesman, or somebody making a statement or something, put that out, the chaos ensues, even if it's debunked after, the job's done. But we're there. Like, it can be done any moment, and anybody in any bedroom can do it and put it out. So governments can do some extraordinary things right now in terms of incitement. So AI will start coming into play. Footage, realistic footage, it's going to be done. I'm not spending all my waking hours playing with AI video creation. I just don't spend any time on it because we're too busy dealing with reality. But the problem is, this stuff is encroaching on reality now, and we have to deal with it. It's kind of crazy. If you see
How does one not know whether or not AI has already come into play? Now, granted, I'm not talking just the fake
yeah, I
images
know what you mean. Yeah.
and videos, but there is a lot to be said about war planning and strategies and movements and the responses and the propaganda. I'm willing to bet that a lot of that stuff is guided, assisted, if not straight up created from some sort of algorithmic AI LLM program.
Yeah.
It's just
Sure.
because it's
Yeah.
too much. In today's day and age, if you are the type of an organization, let's just pick one at random, say the Israeli government, just for fun, and you rely heavily on a propaganda campaign, and it's very important for you to maintain your branding, your voice, you got to keep all the things just perfect, just the right way. And once you've mastered that, do you want to leave that up to a human being to make a mistake, or couldn't you just train a machine to just nail it just right every time and just make sure everything's on point? Keep it pumped out, keep it coming. We've got these probably AI controlled bots that go out there and make these comments. We like to joke around in our own inner circle about all the, is this guy getting the $7,000 check or not? Some of them are actual true believers, I believe, but a lot of these troll commenters that we see on social media probably aren't even real human beings. It's probably a machine. That it was a set it and forget it thing, probably as far back as 2012 or something at this stage of the game. So again, there's always a chance that AI has, in some way, shape, or form, already played a key role in what we're witnessing.
Well, yeah, I agree, definitely, Ruckus. We could go see if you count. I count CGI in there as well, because we're talking about fakery, aren't we? So, and I know that some people would tear my head off for saying this, but I'm just being devil's advocate. Do 747s disappear into buildings? It's just one of those questions that often haunts me. But I know some people get triggered when you ask that question. I think it's a fair question, though. I think it's a fair question.
Yeah, especially when wings kind of just phase out for half a frame, and explosions start happening like after a thing has disappeared, and you get something like the Popular Science magazine article, which outlined the idea of pancaking steel beams at free fall speed. These kind of
Oh, that
things. So
stuff, yeah.
yeah, a lot of begged questions for sure.
Oh, definitely on the structural collapse thing as well. But nonetheless, there we are. So I like this, though. Someone said solutions. Americans need to boycott products, entertainment, sports. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Taxes.
That's going to work. We're talking about Israel.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Israel here. We'll get to that later. That's on the domestic front. I'm sure you have a lot of takers on that one. Yeah, that's the solution right there. So everybody can do that.
What would it take to unembed a foreign government that has done what it has inside of our administration by having so much lobby control? How do we end that? How do we stop that? That's a big one right there. I think if we could take care of that issue, we might be on the path to healing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. We have some additional. Here we say it's on the water treatment. The Israeli Navy controls of all international waters. It now seems, and well, at least they didn't play football like last time. They also bombed the sewage. Yeah, they did. They bombed the sewage plant. Yeah, as well. So as if it wasn't bad enough, that's the world's most moral army, the Israeli army, the IDF. So yeah, that's disgusting. I mean, I'll tell you, the first time I was in Syria, and we were driving from Damascus to Aleppo. This is during the war, and I had to do this long roundabout because there was only one road into Aleppo. And as we're going through those secure back roads, immediately the major water treatment plant bombed to smithereens. First thing they targeted, water treatment, municipal infrastructure. First thing. And so look at all this infrastructural damage by these so-called moderate rebels and the ISIS types. And everybody's blaming Assad, because there's infrastructure doesn't work because they freaking blew it up. But that's how stupid you're dealing with, is people in the West don't have a clue what they're looking at. So yeah, this is terrorism. That's terrorism. Straight up terrorism. That's what it is. So here we go. Oh, Ruckus is getting some play here. Now Ruckus and Hesh are in their happy zones. Conspiracy theories. Guilty as charged.
You are dang right, Acapulco Elvis. I mean, when you said that about the AI comment, I started like rolling backward in my brain to like 10 years ago or 9-10 years ago, the first time we saw like an actual deep fake, an attempt at a deep fake video in Boiler Room. Like, we pitbulled that thing, and we've talked about it for the entire decade stretch of the Boiler Room. And it didn't start with deep fakes. It started with like you were saying, like CGI and fake reporting. Like, we started looking through some of the classics in fake reporting. For example, the newscaster that would go to a place where they were having high winds and sit on his knees in a puddle of water and say, "Oh, I'm up to my waist in water, guys." They're like fighting the wind while someone's walking behind them with no problem in the wind. We had war reports. They're saying they were in Iraq, but really they were in Lebanon, and they were faking, war footage behind them. Like, this kind of stuff has been going on for so long. It's how we ended up in all of the stupid wars, and in all of the stupid false flags, and all of the stupid narratives that more than we would like to admit have been fake or stage managed.
Look at this comment, gentlemen. What do you think about that? Jet
of course
fuel.
that doesn't. Jet fuel passports. I mean, especially passports in, the year 2000. Those ones are particularly robust. Yeah, you could take a blowtorch to one of those. You could fly it into a building. It'll just bounce off, and you'll find it on the streets. Totally normal.
Didn't one of these big Raytheon Technologies or somebody snatch up the rights to the material for the passport to smother all over their body armor and their jet planes and stuff?
Yeah, you guys, you just have to understand the technology and how profound that it is. And a lot of people are just in denial, aren't they, that passports are probably the most powerful and impregnable material on the planet. I mean, it's better than titanium, any of those sort of really strong alloys. It's I'll show you. Actually, we have a scientifically validated video that shows just how powerful the passports are. We'll share that with our audience here. So yeah, it's called Passport Man. Have you guys seen Passport Man? So let's just like put this whole conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory, folks. This is conspiracy science. Passports absolutely rule. Let me bring this up right now. This will just blow your mind, folks. This is just cutting edge science right here. Let me see if we got this. Yeah, I think we do. Yeah.
The FBI tells NBC News it was some distance from Ground Zero that a civilian found a passport lying on the street belonging to one of the suspected hijackers.
Sir, We found the passport belonging to one of the hijackers, blocks away from the attack.
Excellent work, Special Agent. Free the 5 dancers at once.
Sir, what if someone just planted the passport there?
Heck! Nonsense, you fool. We must invade the entire Middle East.
The indestructible passport is gone. Someone took it.
Who is Passport Man? Did he steal and then reverse engineer the indestructible passport of one of the hijackers?
If they made buildings out of passport paper, maybe they'd still be standing. Now I've got to make sure this never gets used the wrong way again.
Oh, it's just that's a bit of inspirational filmmaking right there, folks. Passport Man. I think that looked like a Jake G TV special. I got to go check the credits on that, but
It's one of these rare instances, enjoy them while they last, before the AI overlords take over everything and start killing people. This is a fun example of the use of AI. This gives people, whoever the creative person was behind that, an opportunity to create something on that level that they probably would not have been able to do otherwise, because they would have had to hire an entire team and or have the know-how to do all that digital CGI. I mean, instead, they just spent some time thinking about their vision, and then they directed it through a prompt using one of these, that one to me looked like it was either the Google VO or it was a Sora generated video. They usually do them in just short clips like that, which Jake GTV is known for using these type of things where you only get like a short snippet, but he puts them all together. And some of these people are very good about the way they do it, but that one in particular is one of my new favorites. I did catch that one around 9/11 time this year, and I thought it was fantastic. That was a good share there, Pat.
yeah, free the 5 dancers. I like that comment there.
That's my favorite part. I agree.
That's funny. My passport is indestructible. It's my face. Oof. Oof. That's pretty hardcore. Hollingsworth. Wow. And so, yeah, we also got here. Oh, here we go. It's like the moon landing tech. It's way ahead of its time. Better believe it. Don't mess with the moon landing tech. Send a Schlitz beer can up into space and call it a command module, guys. How about that?
It's a shame we can't figure out how to do all that again.
Who wouldn't believe this?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's an inch thick. No, not even an inch thick. It's a 1/4 inch thick. No, maybe 1/2 inch thick. I don't know. What are you going to do about it? No insulation. Isn't it cold in space?
And plenty thick enough to get outside the Van Allen radiation belt. I wouldn't worry.
Exactly. They put passports in between the...
Buzz had duplicate passports, pasted to the inside.
Aluminium, plywood,
Yeah.
passports. Yeah. And then some maybe foam rubber or something like that in there. So yeah, that's right, folks. Yeah, you better believe it. Remember the Maine. You got to, that's propaganda classic right there. Remember the Maine. Yes. And Ruckus, did they play golf on the moon? You're being challenged, Ruckus. They're singling you out. They're
not specific enough. Who you got to let me know. Who do you mean by they?
See, if you want to,
I'm just kidding.
Hold on, Acapulco Elvis. If you want to interface with our AI Ruckus avatar, you have to put the correct prompts in. Okay, so chat Ruckus. What's the prompt that he needs to put in?
No, I'm just saying that the answer is no. There's no way they play golf on the moon, nor did they get that flag planted just the right way, and it was just sitting there perfect. That was a neat trick there. I don't know. Yeah,
blowing in the wind. Was it a metal flag? I can't remember what the.
It just stood there like perfectly still, stiff or whatever. Then they said, well, we had to do that because we wanted it to be a nice shot, a nice picture. Or so you are admitting that you staged these pictures. Well, uh-oh. But I don't think the way gravity on the moon works would allow one to play golf on the moon. No.
All those little divots and holes, though, it's too bad. It's too bad that wouldn't work out. It'd be fun, I'm sure.
What I thought was amazing is they had all that space for the buggy, for the golf bags, for the astronauts, for all the fuel. extra fuel they'd need. And
All
yeah,
those
there's
cameras.
a whole lot of space in that little Schlitz beer can. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Anyway, I because you know why? Because they're such good engineers at NASA. I mean, they have
Yeah.
damn good. I went to school with NASA engineers. So, but they're damn good engineers. But I mean, come on, really, freaking buggy.
I'm gonna bring my Jeep Willie, guys. Do we have room? I can just see the conversation now. We
Was that
definitely
like-
got to bring the Jeep.
And so it had to have been battery operated, right? So it would have been like a sort of embryonic Tesla prototype with just battery operating at very low temperatures, like below freezing space. I mean, it's pretty cold, right? So we're told. Anyway, there's a lot of issues to work out there, guys. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, actually. So enough of these comments, Zach. Yeah, NASA and the best engineers the Nazis trained. Yeah, come on, give them a break. They're just never going to leave the Nazis alone. I mean, NASA never going to leave NASA alone. Sorry. And the Hummer. Was there a Hummer on Apollo? That was a Hummer. Did they have a Hummer?
It was a Jeep Willie. I saw a really great. Talked about this in detail on Boiler Room years back, but I saw a really great comparison of the Moon Buggy and the Jeep Willie, 1964 Jeep Willie or something like that. Exact same wheel height, exact same wheel wells, exact same axle length. I mean, it is one of those. There's very little doubt that it's not a
I know
standard.
what you're talking about. I don't think it's called a Willie though, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it may have a different submodel name, but
are you insinuating that they used that and redressed it as a prop in a film or something? I mean, is that what you're saying there?
I am, exactly. And they put lawn chairs in it, as was pointed out by somebody up here a minute ago.
But no, it's just an ingenious folding vehicle that could flat pack up into maybe a box this size, and then when they unfolded it, it's a Jeep Willie,
special made by NASA just for that event,
to scale. Yeah, to scale, actual Jeep. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, because that's what you'd want, isn't it? That's what you'd be thinking about, is golf and riding around in a Jeep. I mean, what else would you do if you went to the moon? I mean, I thought you'd want to plant the flag and get the F out of there.
Yeah, but, not die. I'd be cool with just not dying there.
Yeah, come back alive. Okay, let's oh, here we go. Just one more and we're done with this. Ian Taff. They were using a typical Star Trek set for the moon landing. Typical Star Trek set. That's true. The Star Trek sets predated the Apollo moon missions. This is true. This is William Shatner Star Trek we're talking, which was made in the 60s. I think most of those. Yeah. It's pretty damn good for its time, I'll say.
Yeah, I think the 2001 Space Odyssey studio was humming along around this time too, or at least in the Boric forms.
See, this is the downside to us even delving into these areas are that crazy things start coming out like the Saxons here. The moon is flat. The moon is flat. I mean, makes sense, doesn't it, guys? Right? Makes perfect sense. It's flat. So it's basically what we're looking at with the moon is the bottom of a pizza crust. It could be a Chicago deep pan, like the Earth, we're told, is a Chicago deep pan. Extra thick crust. Does it have sauce in the crust within Antarctica? Does it have sauce in the crust? We don't know.
Well, I'm so glad we actually brought up the moon, because I wanted to ask you guys if you heard about this. This is honest to God news right now that normies are even starting to talk about this. You've heard probably by now about the 3-eye Atlas thing, this bizarre astronomical object that came by close by, and then they were supposed to take pictures of it, but they didn't because the government was shut down. Oops. And there's all these weird people running around talking about aliens. Well, I don't think there's any there. However, there is an older object that has had some discussion in the past, and it's back in the news again, called asteroid 2024YR4. And it's something that back in the day they were discussing, hey, look, this looks like it's going to be like a close call, everybody. This might hit the Earth or come close to hitting the Earth or this or that. And they came out and said, well, the good news is, everybody, we don't think it's going to hit the Earth. But check this out. Apparently, according to our new data, it's very likely that it's going to hit the moon. And they're so actually concerned about this, they are literally discussing right now, straight out of a freaking movie. I'm not making this up. Scientists are proposing to take out this asteroid before that happens. Sometime in the next year, they want to take it out. The impact wouldn't happen for another 5 years, but within the next year, they want to nuke this thing out of space and save the moon from total destruction. You can't make this stuff up. Now, I don't know much about nukes nor space, but the last time I checked, setting off a nuclear weapon in space is generally considered a bad idea.
Generally.
But what do you guys think about this?
Well, there's precedent to this. The last time they did this, the U.S. government, in its infinite wisdom, detonated a couple of nukes in space. And the effects are basically long-lasting radioactivity in the atmosphere. And there was all sorts of problems with that. And these people are freaking crazy, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Somehow I think it's not a good idea. Shouldn't be a good idea. They shouldn't need to. They should be able to use low yield anyway, right? Or non-radioactive tactical nukes. One would think sort of be better than the radioactive version, right? But this is the problem we have. Yeah, Ruckus. That's straight. That's a Hollywood. With the asteroid one. What was it? Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis.
Armageddon. I think,
Armageddon,
right?
1998. That's
It's funny because that's what it kind of looks like down here on Earth already, right?
Armageddon.
Michael Bay. I mean, what Ruckus
Michael
just said,
Bay just did Passport Man. It's the
that's
same
a
guy
Michael Bay movie right there. It already happened in 1998. Like, we saw it. It wasn't very good.
Okay. Listen. Well, let's segue out of that gracefully. So they're putting. I need to address this because we have new listeners. Maybe they're not au fait. They're putting the mRNA vax in your food. You need to do this now. It's at food2prepper22.com. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm not going to that website. Sorry. Let me just put people in the frame on mRNA technology. Okay. mRNA technology, i.e., that they inject something in there and it goes into your cells and produces little spike proteins so that your immune system recognizes the spike and therefore makes antibodies to attack real COVID when it shows up, whatever. It's all bullshit. Pardon my French. Did I say that? It's all BS. Swear jar it. I don't care. It's BS. The mRNA technology, and this is the one that Robert Malone claims that he invented. What did he invent? Vaporware. Theoretically, it works in a computer simulation. You see where I'm going with this, guys? And it's been patented from a computer simulation, computer modeled, right? But it's never been proven to work in reality. There's no evidence, real evidence of it. There's a lot of modeling. There's some cell cultures. There's neither is the spike protein itself. These guys have grifted their way. All these people in this industry made millions. Moderna has made billions off this mRNA technology that doesn't. They could never prove that it worked, and then suddenly a miracle happened. It was called COVID-19, and our government, Donald Trump, suspended all emergency use authorization. All of a sudden, Moderna didn't have to prove that this stupid technology actually worked. And people say, "Whoa, but what about the adverse reactions?" Yeah, there's toxins in the vaccine. That's your adverse reaction. What about the D-dimer tests and the accumulation of this and that in the organs? Yeah. Lipid nanoparticle payload. It's toxic material. They're sticking proteins in there. When people use poison darts to kill people, there's a protein in there. That's all it is. The whole idea of mRNA, a lot of it's fake science. Stefano Scaglia did a really good lecture online. It was in the end of COVID, Alex Zek's thing. This is vaporware tech, but it's been legitimized by the so-called health freedom movement. The mainstream already believes this stuff is real, but the so-called health freedom movement, Peter McCullough, Robert Malone, all these people, are spike protein. There's people making a fortune out of selling supplements that clean your spike proteins out. It's a huge industry. Globally, this is a massive multi-million-dollar industry already. Spike proteins, where's the evidence of a spike protein? Oh, but Dr. David Martin with the bow tie. Oh, it's been patented. Listen, I can patent a flying dog if I want. I just say, I've invented a dog that flies. I can register it in the U.S. Patent Office, pay the money. So if I do, what's that evidence of? Is that evidence of a flying dog? No, it's evidence of a patent. That's Dr. David Martin's whole conspiracy. And these people are, they feel like controlled opposition. Just creating rabbit holes upon rabbit holes and then making tons of money out of this naive alternative community that lap this stuff up and think these people are hero truth tellers. Some of what they're saying is good. You know, yeah, the vaccines are garbage. Yeah, this is true. The lockdowns were wrong. Yeah, that's true. You know, but it's the same people that will admit that PCR tests are fake will still say that there's tons of COVID cases. The two of those cannot be true at the same time. Are you following me? Are any scientists in the house? Anybody that knows the scientific method? Basic logic? Evidence-based? Evidence-based? If the data is garbage, then all of the case numbers are garbage. Yes. Yes. And that means lab leak is bullshit as well. Sorry to rain on your parade, guys. If you donated money to those people, I'm sorry. Sorry as well. It's not that they're all bad people. It's just that they're pushing a lot of fake science and sort of indirectly validating the whole hoax. Just saying. But yeah, logical conclusion, says Sprung Spar. You better believe it, buddy. She blinded me with science like Thomas Dolby. You get me?
That same commenter earlier made another good one and said that we're post Malone, if you get that joke.
Yeah, we are. I mean, that's pretty. That's the state we're in.
Post Malone era.
That's a bad state to be in. Mo Better says garbage in, garbage out. Yeah, if you're collecting data from a non-diagnostic fake test and you're accumulating case numbers, they're getting fed into epidemiological models about the spread of a so-called virus. If it's garbage coming in the data set, then the results are going to be garbage. You can't say there's a pandemic and at the same time say that the data collection main method is fake. I mean, I don't have a PhD in epidemiology, guys, or biostatistics, but I do know that. Like I kind of know that. Am I too far off base here? Are we going over the heads of our audience here, guys?
Not this audience.
Really
Not this
simple
audience.
stuff, you know. That I know we're not. I know we're not. Yeah, COVID crisis led to the worst genocide. Yeah, you're right. A massive vaccine genocide. That's right. Bruce is correct. Toxic deployment of a toxic, untested product. I mean, forget about untested. It's so few of those products, if any of them, have any benefit whatsoever. They certainly don't do what they claim they do. And that's the other paradox. I'm sorry to go into virology 101 here, folks, but you cannot claim a prophylactic prevented you from getting anything. It's impossible. You can just say, oh, we looked at the data and cases are down. Oh, we're back to that again. So you can't prove. This is the irony of the vaccine industry. You cannot prove the vaccine saved one life. It's impossible. This is the paradox, the logical paradox of proving a prophylactic. Sorry.
And you can prove the opposite of a lot of the intubations, a lot of the, I'm not going to mention specific pharmaceutical products, you know, the ones I'm talking about that were given that led to people losing their lives or their quality of life. And it's still happening. That's the other thing to Bruce's comment. It ain't over. People are still keeling over suddenly, and we're not getting fair information on why that's happening.
So Mendelson says, I get vaccinated every year and I'm free from flu and COVID. I trust my hospitals. So because you got vaccinated, so if someone doesn't get vaccinated, which many of our listeners haven't got flu or COVID or alleged COVID or whatever they think it is, and they didn't get vaccinated. So does that mean that not getting vaccinated prevents you from getting it by your logic, Mendelson?
I'm pretty sure they're being sarcastic.
Yeah, I think Mendelson's kecking there. So
I know. Yeah, he's trolling. That's a frog, isn't it? I didn't see that was a frog. I thought those were Grand Prix racing flags over his face. I just didn't work that out. I was seeing something else. I'm so like out of shape with recognizing keck memes now. So
yeah,
I've been looking for them. So what happened to the frogs? They disappeared.
I think they're making a resurgence. I think we might be seeing a bit of a resurgence today here at
It's
the
a
Wire.
dog whistle for white racism still, apparently. I did not know that when I originally invested in Pepe coin, and then once I heard that, I was like, well, I got to sell that bag now. I'd hate for anyone to automatically assume anything about me because I hate it when that happens.
I hope you didn't make a loss on those, but
I made a loss on everything, Patrick.
You did. Well, hopefully it was a micro loss. Pepe coins a point not it was sent. Iman Pudama. That sounds like a Jedi. From the I had masked up normies telling me it was man-made, the virus, when I was trying to tell them it was a big nothing burger. It proved to me that it was a CO idea. What's CO? What's that mean, guys? I didn't get that bit.
Controlled opposition, perhaps?
Yes. Controlled opposition. Very good. Yeah. Everyone's like man-made. No. And then we'd say, so you agree with me that the death certificates were completely forged and ramped up to pad the statistics. You agree with me on that? You agree with me they rewrote the protocols to determine what's a COVID death? You agree with me on that? You agree with me and Carrie Mullis that the PCR test is complete trash? You agree with me on all that? But you still say there's a pandemic. And you still say it was man-made. And then the workaround is, well, they meant it to be more devastating, but it was a lot weaker. That's the workaround for your conspiracy theory. Yes, it's fraud. Yeah, that's fake. There was a pseudo pandemic. Yeah, they exaggerated the numbers. It was really the flu season. It was a normal flu season, and but there's still a lab leak. It was man-made. It wasn't as strong as they expected. So what part of that is fact in your sort of personal conspiracy theory, flexible conspiracy theory there? Like which is it? Well, Robert Malone says the lab leak. RFK. You're not a scientist, Patrick. You shouldn't be talking about this. Okay, good. So we're clear on all that. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, I'm glad we're clear on all that, everybody. Oh, here comes that frog again. In the past, there was SARS, killed many healthcare workers. No, there wasn't. There wasn't. SARS-1 is completely debunked, just like SARS-2. Have you read Virus Mania, 3rd edition? Buy that one. Virus Mania, 3rd edition. Someone dropped the link in the chat.
Yeah, grab Dissolving Illusions while you're at it.
There's another essential piece of reading. Oh, when you read Dissolving Illusions, you will feel like you've been completely ripped off your whole life about what a vaccine does or doesn't do. I can guarantee you that was such a massive red pill, that book. It was, I mean, I had my suspicions. Virus Mania, 3rd edition. Virus Mania, 3rd edition. It's on Amazon. Yeah, there's just a few of those required reading things. Yeah, and Midazolam. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they ramped the deaths up. They killed the elderly. They labeled them as COVID cases and all of that. Little Carol says, I'm still going to lots of funerals of people years older than me, all had plenty of jabs. Well, yeah, the jabs were, you could say, I think it's fair to say the jabs could be a bioweapon, but not in the mRNA sense of the legend of mRNA, but more like toxic shots, you know, that hit immunocompromised people. And I don't want to get too deep into the science, folks, but there is a very strong case by Mark Garadell and the Bullius theory. It's a very strong case that where you inject, if it goes into the muscles or directly into the bloodstream, they had unqualified people vaccinating. You're supposed to aspirate the needle. If there's blood in the chamber, you abort and you do it over again because you don't want to inject the payload into the bloodstream. Trained nurses do that. But we had people running around sticking needles in people that were not qualified to do anything. So if they got, if it went to the muscle, the odds of an adverse reaction very low. If it goes into the bloodstream, possibly very high. Plus, we had the batch differences, and there's people done the analysis on the different batches. So there's a couple of factors, potential vectors there in terms of lethality, batches and Bullius, and also anaphylaxis. Again, simple stuff. Everybody knows someone who's allergic to nuts, right? So those allergies, like literally, they can't be in the same room. They'll get immediately. So how does that work? Well, you get into anaphylactic shock if you have one of these serious allergies. But how does the whole process begin when you first have that allergic reaction? Is you're then exposed to it for whatever reason, your body's reacting a certain way, extremely. But it's the space in which you're exposed to it that matters. So COVID was the vaccine was the first one where they said you need 2 shots. Is that weird? Because it never happened before. Think about it. If there was a protein in there, like a nut protein that people are allergic to, it's a protein. You inject it. It's so if they used to be, I think it was, they were very close together and then they spread them out. You see, when you introduce the second time, if your body has time to build up some kind of, whatever, antibodies or some kind of reactive proteins or defense, then when you're introduced a second time, after a sufficient amount of time, you'll get the massive reaction, the major adverse reaction. But initially, they had the 2 spaced out 2 weeks. Then they extended it, if I'm not mistaken. And that set the stage for, according to this theory, I may have some of this wrong because I don't have the book in front of me, but it's based on that sort of anaphylactic shock. Okay, we're talking about proteins and lipo nanoparticle packages. That's what was in the vaccine.
And let's also not forget that millions of people lined up in their cars in this country in front of a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a Walmart and some mobile unit with a whole bunch of people that had been contracted, not necessarily nurses, to inject people in their cars while they were all scared of each other. So you think they put a lot of time and effort into where they put that stabby if they checked to see if there was any blood in it and started over, all that stuff. You really think all that's happening through the window of your car in front of Lowe's when you're in an all-day line of people? Talk about sheeple. Sorry if you're one of the people that fell for that trap, but that was horrific to me and disgusting to see medical procedures, pseudo-medical, unproven procedures happening in parking lots, being administered by people who were not qualified to do it, and being absorbed by people who were coerced by fear.
You want to hear the best one? It was all these hero stories. This was in the first year, or when they first put the vaccines out. They said they were caught in a traffic jam. This was in Oregon. Typical, right? And they kept the first version in a deep sort of freeze. You remember that? Low temperatures and some kind of refrigerated, deep boxes. You remember all that? And so they're caught in traffic, and then the freeze thing was wearing off, and these brave vaccine distributors who weren't doctors said to themselves, "These are going to go off. If we don't, we need to use these now." So we rushed to all the cars in the traffic jam on highway, whatever it was, highway 41, whatever. And we asked them if they needed vaccines, and we gave them immediately vaccines on the spot. So brave, saving lives, right?
Sounds illegal.
That was that was a mainstream story. Yeah. And people were cheering. Oh, so brave. So they probably saved lives because the vaccine was that good. It was so good. And Trump said it was good. Trump said this is great. This is a great vaccine. He's Moderna is a great people. Tremendous companies. Sanofi, Moderna, Pfizer. I love Pfizer. Great companies. We're gonna get rid of all the regulations, says Trump. Operation Warp Speed. Full speed ahead, Scotty. Warp speed, Scotty. And they took us right into a science fiction nightmare, guys. Yeah. Well done, Donald. Put up a lot of resistance, didn't he?
For them to gather all those people who were the recipients of those emergency shots in that well-known news story. We should get all those people together for a reunion and have like hey, I remember that day. I'm guessing it would be very easy to find these people and round them up. I'm sure they're all very well and healthy since they received that emergency shot. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one to track them down if we could, Ruckus. Mendelssohn, on this topic, I can't agree with Patrick. So actually, the frog was not joking.
Yeah, I noticed.
Hesher, that frog was
I'm
serious.
a little surprised, Mendelssohn. You should probably pick a different avatar. No offense.
I think Mendelssohn. I think you need more shots. You need more.
They get them for free from their government, he says. So who still does that? Probably
That's
Canada?
a good thing. Like government wants to give you something for free, and it must be good, huh? Okay.
2 shots of untested venom vax. Listen, that movie about the snake venom in the water, that's just ridiculous. That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So many people got brainwashed by that. If you're that gullible and you just take some documentary appears on Rumble and you're not questioning something like that, then you really need to kind of go back and take stock and then come back out to the world, because
I think one of the snake venom guys was just on with Alex Jones over the weekend.
Sure
so
was.
watch out.
He's done very well out of that one, actually.
Snake venom guy and snake oil guy together. Wow.
Yes.
Perfect pairing.
Yeah. That's Juliana. The series was to destroy fertility. Yeah. Well, that's a plausible theory. Depopulation agenda. Yeah, you got it. Here we go. Smart. She knows. The lipid nanoparticles and the hydrogel. Yeah, she knows. It's all about the ingredients, folks, and not the fake mRNA theoretical technology that Robert Malone says he invented. It's not about that. It's about the toxic ingredients and how it's administered. That's what we're saying. So anyway, but who are we? Who are we to comment on such things?
We are not the right kind of scientists. Just to catch up a couple things here, Patrick. Dissolving Illusions. I'm going to shout out again. Someone asked earlier who the author was. Dissolving Illusions. Suzanne Humphreys. as well as a number of other authors. There's like 4 authors on that. Roman by Transyk. I don't know if I can pronounce that name. Another author there. And then also Virus Mania, Torsten Engelbrecht, also authored by Klaus Conlin, Samantha Bailey, Stefano Scogillo. So Virus Mania again and Dissolving Illusions would be probably the 2 books we would recommend. If anyone wants to dive a little deeper into this one. Mendelssohn, please read it also. It might add some perspective, or at least add some perspective, some context for you to understand our perspective. And with regards to Trump's comments about some of these companies, very interesting. I just go to justice.gov, right? The Department of Justice website, and I see in 2009, the Justice Department announced the largest healthcare fraud settlement in history, $2.3 billion for fraudulent marketing against Pfizer and its subsidiary Pharmaca and an Upjohn Company Inc. Over their misbranding of a medication called Bextra. So I don't know how you be such a great company and also be the largest fraud settlement in American history, but okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, Donald, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It must be Biden's fault. It's Biden's fault. Here's Virus Mania right there. Screenshot that, folks. That's on Amazon. I'm not promoting Amazon particularly, but yeah, it's on there. Yeah, you read that book, and then you will then be filtering out 99% of all conversations. And
here's a
it's
fun
all
one.
Yeah.
You guys should go to your local library and request them to carry the book, and then you borrow it and return it, and then others get to enjoy the book as well. Yes, you can do that.
Dissolving Illusions. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's that one. There's another one, folks. Put that on your list as well. Screenshot that one if you must. That is the history of vaccines as a completely fraudulent industry with no science behind it. Thank you. Any questions, class? Even Rogan even had, he even pumped this book. Rogan even promoted this. It's mainstream by now. And it's very good research. It's really good research. Takes it right back to the beginning of the industry. And it shows that the fake science they used in the early 1800s was the same basic vaccine science and tech they used right up to 1980. It only got modified from 1980. So they're using stuff that they were screwing around with during like the Georgian times around American independence. Guys, seriously? You think the science is dodgy now? What do you think it was like in 1800? You think that was dodgy?
Isn't that when the Rockefeller clan showed up around in this country, literally selling snake oil? Literally selling snake oil.
No, they came after.
Okay, all right.
This was Jenner, the father of vaccines. But yeah, they picked this tech up, and they ran with it. So just so you understand, folks. Anyway, Dissolving Illusions. That's the book. They need to redo the cover, of course. But anyway, it's unforgettable it's designed that way. But so just so people understand, and we'll put this one to rest for the moment, but the vaccine industry is the solution. They need a problem, so they need viruses. So they created virology as a science. So virology provides the problem, which is the virus, and the vaccine's the solution. So big pharma is the vaccine, and virology is the fake science. It's all funded by the same people. So simple equation there. Okay. Funding both sides. You see, that's how it works.
Where did they learn that trick from, Patrick?
It works. It's a brilliant system. You make a lot of money. Cox postulates to isolate a virus particle seem ridiculous even by the most untrained mind. Yes. There are many untrained minds out there. I can attest to that. So here we go. More anecdotal stories from the frog. My uncle caught COVID and he lost his sense of taste for a while. Well, you know,
Oh, the humanity. Oh, that's awful. Gee whiz. Boy, that happened to me when I was 12 and again when I was 15. I
you
mean,
should
gee,
tell your government your uncle lost his taste of smell. I think that should determine policy for the world. Sorry about your uncle's sense of taste and smell. That's
how will he enjoy the frogwa moving
that
forward?
validates everything. So
I
thank
just
you for
don't
sharing
understand.
that with us.
There's a good comment by Lil Willow. Also, what did for me was the documentary "The End of Germ Theory" by Space Busters. So yeah, big shout out to Space Busters there as well. Another
Steve
good,
Falconer.
yeah, Steve Falconer's the man.
Yep, he's busting space. Yeah, here we go. Virology is the marketing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The whole science of virology is completely contrived, and yeah, it's just one of the worst. It's like whatever. I mean, this is how it goes. It is a bit of a religion. Great time to start a cult. The Church of the Injected. It's going to be a pretty small church pretty soon.
Well, the word pharmakia, which is, of course, the root word for pharmacy, does mean like magic, occult, spellcasting stuff, if I'm not mistaken, yeah?
Yep. Yep. People couldn't smell Look at this. People still couldn't smell candles, according to the Amazon reviews during the pandemic. That's proof that it's real, isn't it? You guys take that from, obviously, this is a very high-level source, Dr. Nick Riviera. I mean, this is a high-level source right here, the cat. The little black cat, the kitten. Nick
Can't smell your peppermint latte candle. Oh, the humanity yet again. This is just bad news.
I can't work out whether that's really quality trolling right there or it's a really bad stab at propaganda. Dr. Nick, which is it? If you're trolling us, Dr. Nick, that is brilliant.
I love it either way.
That is high level trolling. I love it. But if you're serious, we're concerned. Leave it there. Yes. Pharmakia, the dying church. Yep. Like many churches these days. Yeah. Caught COVID. This look at this. This is a joker here. I caught COVID 666 times. Well, we only caught it 33 times. Yeah, here we go. David Crow helped me. We interviewed David Crow before he passed away. He was brilliant. David Crow also was one of the first people to push back on the whole AIDS scam. That was another one, HIV and AIDS. And that guy was an amazing guy. So far ahead of it. So far ahead. He's one of the first people that really did very, very well and to expose the PCR test as a fraud. David Crow. He's a Canadian. Great researcher. Sad. He passed away. Great man. Really. That's it, folks. Yeah, I think we've done that one. Little walk down memory lane there with COVID and the viruses.
Like we tried to not relitigate it last week, and here we are this week. We just, I guess it was just required.
See if Dr. Nick Riviera has vindicated himself. He's not even defending himself, so he could be serious. But look at this. The other black cats are kind of up in arms over this whole thing. I'm picking on the little furries. What's up with the black cat hate?
It's almost Halloween, Patrick. It makes sense.
You guys should form a union. But I'm still looking for no vindication comments from Nick. He still stands by the Amazon candle story. So, right? Fair play. You own it. Own it. Own it, my little kitty. Okay. That's it, folks. Yeah. So those are the books. Some plugs there. They've done very well with those books, and they deserve to have done well with those books because those books are fantastic. Those two books especially have emancipated a lot of people from one of the biggest psyops of their life. So if they've made millions off any of these books, I'm very happy for them. And I hope they do a follow-up book. Maybe they have actually by now. But so gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap up this edition. I think we've covered some pretty useful ground. Again, apologies for any of the black cats who got the wrong idea. And that goes for black canines as well, for dogs and cats. Hope you didn't get the wrong idea. There's no hate here. We love the felines as well as the canines. There's lots of love, especially the canines. We got big sort of dog and cat fans here. Yeah. So please don't take it personally. Again, we're questioning. Yes, that's right. LOL. See, they even got a sense of humor. We are questioning the qualifications of Dr. Nick Riviera, whether he's an actual doctor or not. Anyone's a doctor during COVID. I mean, doctor. Yeah, there we are. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we wrap up this glorious episode of the Sunday Wire? Again, thank you so much for joining us. Basil couldn't be here. He is on the road. He's busy. He is, I think, enjoying what Great Britain has to offer during the autumn, traveling. And so big shout out to Basil as well as Freddie Ponton. Freddie wanted to make it last week but couldn't, so we will be sneaking Freddie onto an episode of the Sunday Wire. It's probably going to be next week. So, because there's a big story that's going to drop at 21 Wire. So Freddie will want to talk about it midweek and Sunday. You guys will see it. And when you do, we'll be able to ask some questions. It's an extraordinary investigation. That's all. I'll just leave it there. And we've managed to do something no one's done before on a certain aspect of it. I'll just leave it there. So it'll be very good. It'll be very good when it drops. Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruckus. We'll go around the horn. Ruckus, any final thoughts, observations, insights, epiphanies, plugs?
How about this last minute breaking news? Somebody brought this up in the comments and I checked and I'm sure enough. So I guess we should just mention it real quick because why not? This guy seems to think he's going to be running in next year's elections, and he not only that, he expects to win. So that's the newest news right now with one Mr. Bibi Netanyahu. Is that really his name? I don't know about that. But yeah, anyways, man, that guy's. I don't know. What do you guys think? What are his chances? Is it? And I didn't pay attention enough in the article. Are they talking about running in Israel, or is he running for president of America? I wonder.
Not only am I going to run, we're going to win, says Bibi. Milikowski, 2026. Milikowski. Ben Zion Milikowski, 2026. I think Javier Milei should emigrate, do Aliyah, and maybe be in the cabinet. I think because he's not going to last in Argentina. Didn't he? He's got a $40 billion bailout from Trump now. What happened to the libertarian miracle? I mean, Elon said that he doged Argentina and fixed it, and it's a great inspiration. Look what Milei's done in Argentina. That's what Elon kept saying.
They blew it all on chainsaw oil, Patrick.
Chainsaw oil, yes.
Gold plating your chainsaw is not cheap.
And I guess he had to liquidate all his mem coins to save the country. I mean, would you do that? Sacrifice your personal fortune to bail out your own country that you're the president of? I don't know. I'd sort of start there. It's one way to stay out of jail. Okay. Is Miriam Adelson funding him? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he could extort Trump for some money. Just go, yeah.
Yeah, that was my thought. I mean, we're funding him, right? We're gonna use American tax dollars to fund that campaign, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Will American Christians who got caught up in that geofencing stuff be witnessing campaigning ads for Netanyahu's running for PM in Israel. I mean, because we would want to support him winning in Israel, obviously, because he's got the Zionist Christians' best interests at heart, right?
Of course.
So
Yeah.
who would his competition be, and are they any better?
Well, he's running a coalition, and he only has 2 seats. Likud, his party, only has 2 seats in parliament. Can you believe that? He's got 2 seats, and he's prime minister.
No, it makes no sense. It makes zero sense. As an American, like, it's confusing to me.
The whole thing, Israeli democracy is a joke. It's a total fraud. The whole thing's a joke. They don't have any democracy. It's not that it's the shining city on the hill in the Middle East. It's Western civilization amongst the Arab hordes. This is how they sell Israel. The world's most moral army. We drop leaflets before we level neighborhoods. We give people time to leave. Right.
The Moral Army. Yeah, I saw them this morning. I saw a video of them this morning. IDF training a young female IDF officer who looked like she wasn't more than 17 to shoot a 40 Mike grenade out of a grenade launcher into people that were looking to, get some water or something like that. So yeah, that's a moral military for sure.
Here comes some this might be a violation of the emoluments clause. I have a $250 bottle of scotch for Hesher. That should be a nice bottle of scotch. In fact, that should be, at that price, it should be a single malt whiskey, and it should probably be more than 25 years old, possibly 30.
All right.
At that price, that has to be and it has to be rare edition. There are probably only 300 or 350 of them made. It has to have numbered tag on the side. You've piqued my interest.
Yeah.
It has to come from Scotland, right?
Now we're talking about a cure for COVID, right?
Right. Yeah. Booyah shot. So don't threaten those things, Acapulco Elvis, unless you're willing to deliver.
Yeah, Hesher at alternatecurrentradio.com. I'll get you a ground address, buddy. And if you want to bring it over, we'll have it together.
Yeah. Hesher at alternatecurrentradio.com. That's the email. Get in touch, Acapulco Elvis. Do not issue idle threats on this program.
Don't threaten us with a good time, buddy.
Don't threaten us with a good time. I love that. That is almost a t-shirt right there. Don't threaten us with a good time. That's such a great line. That one's open sourced.
Yeah,
we just
it's a
open
classic.
sourced it.
I think I lifted that from Brett Michaels' show, Rock of Love. There was a particularly trashed young woman on that show that said that to him when he said something lewd. I never forgot it.
Sir Holly Hollingsworth saying, I've got some leftover slow gin. Yeah, okay, right. Now we're getting into these are just the drinkers coming out here. That's all. That's all this is. Okay, I'm waiting for a wine mom.
Yeah, well, what more are we to do after a day of news like this, right?
That's right. Thanks, guys. Great stream. Thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody who retweeted the stream as well. Appreciate it. Just before we go, quick shout out programming on alternatecurrentradio.com. Hesher, what's happening this week?
Well, I do believe we owe the world a boiler room. We didn't show up the last 2 weeks. We've been doing some stuff in the studio here. Spore and I have been working on some stuff. So we'll be back on Thursday, if not sooner, with a new episode of Boiler Room. And we are currently working on a kind of large migration in the background, a tech migration, if you will. Some of our listeners have supported us to a level last month where we were able to make a big jump from our current broadcasting and podcasting main squeeze to a new main squeeze. So we're working on that in the background. Just find us at alternatecurrentradio.com. Join our Discord if you want to get into our little community of like-minded individuals, and make sure not to mute the notifications channel in that Discord, and you'll always know when Ruckus is going on Weaponized News, when we're lighting up the boiler room, when we're playing music on Saturdays, and when new episodes come out from our colleagues at Mystical American Patriot Society, the Odd Man Out podcast, Sunday Wire, Midweek Wire, and everything else we got going over there. Thanks for having me. Again, you can support us at alternatecurrentradio.com, and that's it for me. Thanks again.
And just a note to our graphics department there at ACR, if they happen to be on the stream listening, we, we need a plate for alternate current radio with the URL and ACR logo, something really cool that we can drop in there after the individual programs. We also probably need a weaponized news boilerplate as well. Ruckus, is the Daily Ruckus still pumping? Are you busy with weaponized news? Oh,
Yeah, I'm just doing the roundabout Ruckus stuff now. So that is pretty much I show up on Weaponized News once a week to co-host with Sam Chaney, and then I pop those up in a nice, cool-looking little wrapper at alternatecurrentradio.com. But, you know, I also show up on other programs like The World Today. Remember them? They used to be The Pulse. Oh, remember them? They used to be TNT. Yeah, anyways.
The World
and
Today.
other programs. Yeah.
I
was on The World Today with Mike Ryan not that long ago. It was a good time. We talked about AI stuff. Because I have a long history of a fascinating, we'll just leave it there. They used to, true story, back when I was on TNT, I'll just mention this because it's kind of funny to me, that they did not like it when I was reporting stories about artificial intelligence a couple of years ago because they thought it wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't important. People don't care about that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, these days, you can't go anywhere without anybody and everybody talking about AI and how it's affecting the world. And, you know, we were just talking about the warp speed thing that happened 4 or 5 years ago, right? And now we have a similar warp speed happening involving AI. So I got to discuss some of the AI concerns, in particular, how it could affect, you know, organizations such as ours. So that's right. These AI searches and the chat GPTs it's gonna cause trouble for everybody, not just for I can't trust what I'm seeing or believing, but your source of your information. How do you get your business or your product out in people's hands anymore in these days when a lot of that control is now in the hands of artificially intense, you know, AI enhanced, you know, advertise like ChatGPT. They don't go search for your news article. They don't search for your product. They just say, hey, ChatGPT, give me XYZ, and it's just given to them. So there's a lot of concerns that people are not talking about. And I did bring that up on that program. So you'll find that at alternatecurrentradio.com, my discussion with Mike Ryan. Shout out to Mike Ryan. Shout out to Weaponized News, Sam Chaney. I'm there either Wednesday or Friday. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I've been very busy doing word slinger stuff. So if you're out there and you want a little help with your website, your marketing strategy, you need a Facebook page, maybe you want to learn how to, oh, God forbid, I'm going to say this, but you want to learn how to implement artificial intelligence into your personal workflow, hit me up. I offer business and marketing consultations for a small, modest fee. I can also help you with your website, graphic designs, and stuff like that. So send me an email or a direct message on my Twitter. Okay, you'll find information for all of that at alternatecurrentradio.com. And thank you so much for having me again, Patrick. It was nice to have a little backwards conversation about the pandemic stuff and not focus on the current destruction behind us. We'll be talking about that, I'm sure, in the very near future. I'm not sure if you're doing a midwife wire this week, but if you are, I'll make sure to tune in live, and then we try to put that up on our website as well so people can find it in a hurry if they have to. Otherwise, you can always find that stuff on your social media feeds and at 21stcenturywire.com. You know, thanks again. Read everything, everybody. Don't believe anything unless you can prove it for yourself using your own research. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just had Ruckus full screen, and when we went to the multi-screen there, I saw Hesher was hiding a bottle. So I'm wondering if that's like a cheaper bottle of scotch that he is a hip flask or something like that. That's just water, isn't it? Yeah,
Sunday Wire's water.
Yeah, it's a dry show, at least for us.
Yeah. Maybe Boiler Room, however, I don't know. I've had a couple beers on Boiler Room lately. Been enjoying that.
Yeah, that's more of an evening program.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a family show as this.
Nope.
We did swear a few times, but
you did. I was good today. You were the swear jar guy.
Better. I'm just losing my patience these days.
Watch too many episodes of Boiler Room, huh?
Yep. Is that the Scotch, Hesher? Check your email, Hesher.
I had the same thought.
In fact, let's just open up the floor a little bit. If that's Hesher at alternatecurrentradio.com, if you want to send an expensive bottle of scotch to Hesher, he's not going to say no. So there's one out there for $250. Might as well send another one. I'm sure that he's got some generous benefactors there. He prefers single malt Scottish, minimum 20 year. Ideally oak cask.
Yeah.
But doesn't have to be. but just ideally.
Right.
Ideally. And that's good sipping whiskey, and it holds its value. That's actual cash. You can actually trade that. It holds its value. It's like Bitcoin.
Right. After the asteroid smashes into the moon and the economy tanks, I mean, I could barter with that. So hook me up.
Yep, you damn right, Holly. This is a proper family show. You know what I'm saying? This is a family show. People are organizing their weeks around this program. A lot of people, they have the dinner ready. They have the kids out, and they're waiting. And I'm sorry for the profanity, folks, but these are serious issues. And Johnny Walker Blue Label. Look, Johnny Walker's it's a blend. It's not a single malt. Single malts are the king of the Scotch and whiskey family. Johnny Walker's good. It's good, but it's not a single malt. That's a higher level. This is more for mass production. It's good mass production. Yeah, it's a good gift. I'll tell you what, Johnny Walker's good if you're traveling around the world and you want to give a nice gift that everybody will recognize. Blue Label is a good gift. Black Label, yes, excellent. There's a red label as well, but blue is good. Blue is good. You go to Arab countries, you go to Africa, you go to Russia, you go to China. That's a good passport right there. You show up with a nice bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. It's a nice gift to enter. And it's basically saying, I'm coming from overseas, from the Anglosphere. Please welcome me. Please accept my humble gift there. And there's going to be somebody who's just going to go, wow, that's really kind of you. So that is a brilliant international sort of door opener. But for the connoisseur, it's definitely a Highland single malt. Aged. There's nothing like it. Or an Irish, a Bushmills, Northern Ireland. Antrim. It's got that peat bog taste to it. Oof. That's serious
Lovely
stuff. Anyway, it's been a while, but I still remember the flavors in my head. I cannot really indulge in that sort of stuff anymore, but I might have a taste here and there and throughout my life. But I used to actually go to tastings, and because of the business we're in, I had to attend tastings in order to purchase them. So yeah, in bulk. So yeah, we had Scottish guys with beards and kilts coming down to London, like literally the whole table of like 22-year, 20-year, 25-year, right? And you taste what the difference between a 10 and a 25 was, and then that's how I with the cigars afterwards. That's how they rolled.
Yeah,
that's how the Scotsmen roll. That's how they roll, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I have a single malt for you, Patrick. Shall I send it to Hesher? Yeah, send it to Hesher. Send it to Hesher. Send it to Hesher, and then Hesher will keep it. And maybe when we see each other next, we'll crack it.
Yeah, there you go.
Little Carol special. That's good.
100%.
Glenfiddich. Nope, that's a blend. It's good blend though.
Another good blend. Yeah,
I think they do. I don't know if Glenfiddich does a single malt. I don't think so. It might. I'm not sure about that, but it's an excellent blend. Glenfiddich is probably the king of blends. Could be. It's not Wild Turkey. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Now we're really getting into it. Yeah, Powers is a good blend. Powers. See, Dr. Nick. Irish Powers, are you serious? You think that's a good blend? That's what an Irish dentist does when they're doing tooth extractions.
Oh,
they tie the string on the tooth over the door, and then they slam the door. But before that, they give you a shot of Powers. So what kind of doctor are you, Dr. Nick Riviera? What kind of doctor are you? Seriously. Yeah, this is crazy. Look at this. Look at that, Hesher. Johnny Walker's and Sons Diamond Jubilee, $200,000.
Good Lord!
I told you it's currency.
Wow,
it's like a gold bar or a bottle of 73 claret.
I mean, you get a pretty decent house in Texas for that much.
Just show up with that bottle and you're done. That's it, man. That's Yeah, that's legal tender in some countries. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Better believe it. You better believe it, guys. Thank you very much, gentlemen. On that note, that's a worthwhile note to break on, I think.
There you go. Yeah.
And thank you to everybody in the chat as well. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for sharing the stream. Those of you who've retweeted or shared the stream. And don't forget, if you're listening, that's one way you can really help us, is to like and subscribe on YouTube. Find our shorts, find our programs, like and subscribe. We're so throttled on that platform, and we have to physically break through to get like 25,000 subscribers now. We're coming up to, hopefully. That's the only way we're doing it. We were stuck at 15 for over a decade. We were absolutely in the doghouse with Google and YouTube. Anyway, we hope we can turn that around. But thank you, gentlemen. That's Hesher. That's Ruckus, Alternate Current Radio. Guys, this has been a great program. Thank you for joining us again. And if you like this program, you like this amazing Midweek Wire episode we had with Dr. Frank Romano, think about supporting 21 Wire, 21st Century Wire. Just go to our website. You'll see the links in the show descriptions or at the top of my profiles on these various social media apps. And there's a gold button in the upper left-hand corner. It says donate. And we absolutely need your support. We spend so much on hosting and security, as well as all the other services, plugins, and so forth. It's expensive. Plus, we have staff. Plus we're putting out content every day. We're putting out investigative content daily, and we have a couple of big long green tail reports that we're working on, long-term investigations, including the Nord Stream pipeline. So this what we've spent on our investigations over the years, it's a lot of money. It costs tons of money, and we need your help to make that happen. So if you're listening, you like this program, but you like the content, the output that we're doing, please subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv. PayPal, credit card, crypto, all the different options are there. So again, it's very affordable, or just give us drop a single donation, and many people do that every month. So anyway, that's what we've got right now. That's what we have time. That's all we've got time for today, folks. We're going to break here. And again, I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This has been another edition of the Sunday Wire here on Alternate Current Radio. And thank you guys. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. And thank you to our great support crew. Thank you to our musicians and artists on our lineup. You guys, for your amazing content. And we really appreciate it. We'll be talking to all of you soon. But in the meantime, we'll say goodbye. Have a great week. We'll see you on the midweek. Hopefully we'll have something very good planned. Next Sunday, I'm pretty sure I know what we're going to be covering, but we've got a lot going on this week. So thank you again. Take care, everybody. All the best.
For in the final analysis, we all inhabit this small planet, and we are all mortal.
Lately I've been watching the world gone mad. Brothers and sisters full to take a stand, to hate their fellow man and other man. Divide and conquer is the acronym plan. Distract the people, control the story. Don't believe your lying eyes, you know me. Stay in power no matter what. Play with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and painted. All of the games they left unplayed. All the laughter in the playground. All of the art they never made. Ghost faces of a million Palestinian children. All of those voices left in silence, all with their names written in kind. Lest their bodies pulled from rubble, lifeless empty dolls to find. Ghost faces of a million Palestinian children. What are the songs they've never written? What are the words they'll never sing? And the darkness of the nightmare, inescapable that rings. The ghost faces of a million Palestinian children. I hear the crying, helpless children, God's most precious and most dear. I hear them begging for the reason. How could you ever leave us here? I close the eyelids of a million Palestinian children. So what do we really stand for? Is this how our future's made? And when we ever find the courage to stand up unafraid, I tear away the persecution of the Palestinian children. Rise up and be the guardians of the Palestinian children. To respect our obligation, every creed and every nation, 'cause every soul deserves protection. Save the Palestinian children.